All right. Mr. Chairman, you're on mute.
Thank you. Now I ask for a motion to come out of executive session.
Who did we come out of executive session? This is public.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Thank you. Mr. Fountain, can we go to item 3? We did go in executive session for the record, and we took no action while
Public works.
executive session.
Oh, that's written on that.
So now, Mr. Fountain, item H3.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So this item H3 is for the Barbary Ridge Drainage Improvement Project. This is for the committee to recommend approval of fee amendment number 3 with WK Dixon to add the basically final design and permitting services to take the project from its current 30% plans to construction level bidding, as well as providing real estate services for the property acquisition necessary for the project. This amendment is for $714,353 with WK Dixon.
Okay, let's entertain the motion on that. What's the pleasure of the committee?
I so move.
Properly moved, Dan.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. Do we have any discussion on this? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. We don't have any miscellaneous business listed, but I do have a couple of pieces of old business that Mr. Fountain maybe you can give me an update on. A couple of months ago, maybe 3 months or so ago now. Remember we had a meeting and we had some people from Ashley Harbor concerning vacuuming out a drainage drop. And I think there was supposed to be some conversation between our folk and their folk. Haven't heard anything. Can you tell me where we are on that? Can you give me an update on whether we can find a way to service those people?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I believe at this point, their HOA group and our legal counsel have been working to try to put together a possible easement dedication. So I think they've been looking at different plat options and trying to come to a option that works for both of those parties.
Okay, can Ms. Copeland speak to that? I mean, what kind of progress? How far down I guess the railroad path we are with that? Is Ms. Copeland still on?
I don't see her on.
Oh, okay. I know she was at, well, somebody else's email.
She is not on, but I am here. I'm happy to chime in, but can you repeat the question? I'm sorry, the internet.
It was about a dialogue between the HOA people at Ashley Harbor, trying to get, I guess, some easements on trying to, so we can get in and service some of the drainage drops. About 3 months ago, we're in February now. I think we had that discussion November, at most December. I see you, Ms. Copeland. If you got some information, bring us up to date. We'd be
Are you looking for an update? Is that what you're asking?
correct. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I've been communicating with Brandon Winchester, the representative for the HOA,
Right.
and we're actually scheduled to meet face to face with the plat and survey to pinpoint the actual locations they want the easement to apply to.
Uh-huh.
And once we have that distilled into a document, we would be ready to get back to you.
All right. So is that something 2 weeks away, 30 days away? What do you think?
I'd say 2 weeks. Well, hopefully by the first meeting in March, we'll have something to you.
I agree. Maybe we can pencil that in on the agenda.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much on that. And then, Mr. Fountain, we had you and I think Councilman Shealy and myself, again, a couple of months ago had, well, I say a couple of months ago, it had to have been in December. It was last year about Madagascar. It was a drainage and it needed to be kind of cleaned out and maybe redig the pathway in the marsh or something like that. That was a possibility. Can you touch bases on that?
Okay, Mr. Chairman, we've done some work at least on cleaning the pipes in that location and then cleaning the outfalls to the location where basically we have easement and there isn't sort of the open marsh consideration where we get into the heavier environmental permitting.
Right.
So the next step was to monitor how that improvement worked. Basically, did it still create flooding, or did that abate the flooding? If there's still a flooding issue, that's where we need to look at, similar to what we've done in a couple other neighborhoods, going through the permitting process with OCRM to be able to go do cleaning in that area. OCRM did just come out with a general permit that makes it slightly easier on the OCRM side, at least. We're still in Army Corps process, depending on whether or not there's anything under the Corps jurisdiction, but that tends to be a relatively more lengthy and expensive process. We've also been talking with our vac truck vendors, trying to find some options to do more of that level of cleaning in-house, since we're running into more and more of these outfalls that need problems. And certainly the costs we're getting from vendors right now are extremely, extremely high for that outfall cleaning. So we're kind of working on it from a few different angles. Senator Sen's been working on it from the DHEC OCRM permitting side, with support certainly from a number of our council people and the mayor. We've been working on it internally, from looking at our own vac truck options to see if we can do more of this cleaning. And then we've been addressing in the meantime with the small project allocation, as these are projects we can fund until we make more progress on that route for at least cleaning on the 1 year time frame or so.
Okay, so
observation in the short, Councilman Waring, is to see if it made any difference or not from the cleaning that we were able to do.
so all of the the pipes have been cleaned out, to your knowledge.
They had clean pipes, and I think they have done some. I know Kendrick's been out there quite a bit. They did some work in the backyard areas, trying to get to what they could for that outfall before it sort of all joins together into the larger waterway as well.
Right.
But I don't know how far they were able to get. We did just also get a new piece of equipment in, which we've talked about for probably a year and a half. But the walking excavator was delivered about a week and a half ago. Took us about 14 months to acquire it. Tough logistics right now, but that might help us get to some areas. I'd have to talk to Kendrick, double check on that location, Mr. Chairman, to see if they needed it to get any further, or if this is just where we've gotten to having to do hydro excavation under a permit at this point.
Okay, good. And then that's it on those two. I think you didn't know that was coming, but I appreciate the update on that. I guess it's on the old business, but I guess on the next agenda, what I'd like to have on there, at least have Orleans Woods. We've talked about doing some action steps around Orleans Woods, and then an update on the Doo-Wop district. My understanding, the county, they kind of waiting on us. So, but that can be held on next agenda. I see Councilman Shealy came on screen. If you have any comment, Mr. Shealy, this is your time.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I guess I see Mr. O'Brien's not on. I guess it's a question for him. But Ashley Harbor was asking if street sweeping can be done in there.
Oh, that's right.
In their neighborhood as well. Evidently, there was some utility work that's been done there recently, and the streets are real dirty from that. But not that the utility company shouldn't be responsible, but I don't know whether we do any street sweeping in Ashley Harbor, or what our situation is there.
Let me touch bases on that. I live in the neighborhood adjoining AT&T, and some of you all have maybe seen it in your neighborhood or some of your neighbors' neighborhood. They came through putting in a fiber optic, and they did a really nice job. And in most cases, there wasn't a lot of residue. They took their time taking the grass out, dug down, and did bores and extended the broadband or whatever it is. But in some cases like this, a lot of that clay dirt, if you will, washed into the street and into going towards our drainage. And it should be the utility company to do that. I know, Mr. Mayor, we've got contact with people with AT&T that we can call on to see. The real responsibility should be the contractor who created the problem. But, the question about street sweeps, I think that's one. I think there's two questions that need to be answered on that. Can our street sweepers go in there? And then obviously, if a subcontractor goes into the area and create a problem, what is how do we get in contact with the city rep for, in this case, AT&T, come back and clean the streets. That I don't think they intended on do it, but that's been an unintended result. So, Mr. Mayor, I know we've got a contact with AT&T. Maybe we can reach out to them as well about sending their subcontractor back to clean up some of the residue.
Our new AT&T rep has been very responsive whenever we have a request into him, so we'll be happy to do that. I don't see Tom O'Brien on the call anymore. But I'll be happy to work with them and follow up. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any additional questions, Councilman Sheila?
No, that's it. I appreciate it,
All
though.
right. Listen, unless there are any final comments, I think this brings our meeting to a close. So I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
No move.
That caught y'all by surprise. Normally we do that by acclamation. But all in favor of adjournment, please say aye.
Aye.
I see you guys a little bit.